get to see it again here for Renegades on the first map of IEM Fall.
Yeah, you're going to see a little bit of banana and second mid control as Renegade's going to be starting out with their own map pick. Addict is up there in towards the apps, but VERTEX have already lost 2 picks very early on here, Jordan.
Yeah, they have. So they'll have to do a little bit of work to take that back, and not so bad. Still, Inns is going to chime in with one more, and then PZ another, so it's fights all over the map. Bomb's been left in T-spawn. Ruffleco and PZ, very, very split, but then again, so is Inns and Malta.
Yeah, it's potentially winnable. It's been a nice little turnaround into the round here for VERTEX, but unfortunately, PZ gets a little bit of drive-by from Inns. The man has been pretty phenomenal in the last little bit, as he always is. IGLing for Renegades. He's also been quite impactful across DreamHack Open, so to see kills like that come out for him, I dare say, is going to be a must for Renegades today, and I doubt that VERTEX are going to be having any easy time of it.
Definitely don't think so. Ruffleco not going to be given any mercy by Malta, and he'll be taken out of the picture pretty early on in the piece. 1-0 the scoreline for Renegades. VERTEX will be looking for the force buy through here, I'd imagine. We'll see a Deagle out for Addict. Armor starting to come across the board there as well. So it is within the realms of expectation. RNG certainly seem to be all over that as well as they've gone into the full rifle setup.
Yep, these second round force buys are quite common on most maps in this region, but especially over here on Inferno, much better chance of success when you're able to stall out with the smokes, get some chip damage with the HE nades. Worth mentioning that there's a fair bit of money being kept over by VERTEX. This isn't a full investment into the force. I mean, I'd expect PZ to be saving, but to see APOC dud maybe indicates a secondary ult coming out in round number 4 if this doesn't go well for them. Even Ruffleco holding on to a little bit of extra money, maybe to shore up the utility as one of those B players.
Nice map control for Renegades, but they may well be walking into the trap that is going to be set by VERTEX. 4 players towards the B bomb site. I'm not sure that VERTEX is expecting this wrap through CT, though. They haven't got anyone spotting that line. It'll be a freebie, a free kill for Sicko. Inns will chime in for the second, and eventually RNG will start to pull this one apart. They're not necessarily going to run into this one like a headless chicken. They're still expecting a bit more resistance on the bomb site, and they are going to be rewarded for their patience and their fundamentals. Addict is finding a few kills. There's a third for him as well. RNG starting to let this one slip away a little bit from them. But they'll make their way back to A, and that should be more than enough to get a bomb plant down. Addict, however, has definitely done some damage.
Yeah, great damage into that T-side economy. He's still trying to put the pieces together here. One player close in library. Not sure if he has been heard there. Alistair is on a bit of an off angle. Addict trying to clear out all of the lines, but unfortunately, the crab spray with the AK, trusty as ever, is going to net Renegades that second round, but not without taking significant losses. Good news for them is they are heading into another anti-eco here, so they might be able to shore up that economy. But, you know, these are the kind of things that could help VERTEX out later on.
Yeah, most definitely. Not going to give them too many advantages into this round, though. We'll see the 2 MAC-10s picked up here, Sicko and Hats, and so this is more of a farm round than anything else for Renegades, particularly if they head towards the B bomb site, or maybe it's not, right? If they do go to the B bomb site, they get nothing, right? There's no kills for them on offer. Maybe they go for a hunt here or there, but as soon as they walk into that B bomb site, they're not going to have any heads to shoot. I'm sure they'll take it, though.
Very slow, methodical. If you contrast that to that last round where you had the jungle walk in the anti-force, which is, I'm assuming, what Renegades were anticipating this round, they're working the map. Exactly what you'd be expecting out of this kind of an anti-eco. Sending the MAC-10s in first. Pretty default smokes. Some high percentage utility to clear out some of those annoying close angles, and they'll filter into the site, which has no players present.
Get themselves a free bomb plant as well. Hats is doing the job of clearing all the angles. And Malta just making sure that he locks down the bottom of mid to ensure that no one can wrap around behind the rest of his team. So that's a disappointing result in the end for VERTEX. You know, sometimes it doesn't work out, right? When you 5-stack a bomb site. I like it, though. I think it's showing the willingness to try and make something happen, even in a round where nothing probably should happen. Addict with the 1-for-1. Not really what he's after. He wouldn't have even been able to get that MAC-10, and even if he did, would he have wanted it to begin with? Probably not.
Looking pretty clean here for Renegades. Not losing too many players. He's still got a couple of lads on the exit over here. Got a Zeus in PC's hands, so true to his name. Looking to make some zapping sounds. Try and take some extra guns away. Flank through from top middle. And that's actually not too bad. They take another AK off of Ins. A couple of players quite low in towards middle. Could have seen them losing their lives, but after all said and done, do see the investment in here from VERTEX. 3 guns kept up for Renegades, and they're going to be heading into the first gun round of Inferno here. Good to see Roffelko full belt of utility after being quite responsible with his money, but we don't see the double AWP straight out of APOC dud. It was just for that utility. Make sure that they're getting off to a good start in this first gun round.
Lots of util down the banana initially from VERTEX, but it's really not going to keep RNG at bay at all. They're already starting to push the issue to get towards that half wall, and Hat's hanging on to the MAC-10. Definitely going to be one that gets sent through the smoke here to try and find something. Inns is there as well. They're just going to sit together inside the smoke, and they do manage to get control of sandbags. So once again, RNG just doing what they love to do best. That is heading towards the B bomb site, leaving Malta to his own devices over on A, and generally speaking, that works out quite nicely for Renegades.
Yep. VERTEX have a lot of utility on B, though. Brace was actually the one to lean over towards B early on and invest that utility, so now they have enough to be able to go for this kind of a play. You see the retake in utility come in from VERTEX just as the execute comes in. It's actually some pretty good timing in here for VERTEX, but now we end up in a 3-on-5. And if Renegades can just get these entries into the site, and they've been able to do it, they pushed it into a 3-on-3 on that B site. And these are the kind of situations that start well for VERTEX, but could easily turn around back to the favor of Renegades.
Yeah, especially when you're in a 3-on-3 post plant. There is at least a little bit of util to speak to. There was a flash getting dropped over to Brace. First time that I think I've seen that so far since the new update. So he's going to be the one to send the lads in. PZ and Addict, by the looks of things, well, I was going to say would be the ones to try to make the retake happen off the back of the flashes from Brace, but they opt not to. So in the end, it's really just PZ looking for some exit frags here, just trying to whittle down that T-side economy as much as possible. But I can tell already that Renegades is not really prepared to be playing around in a matchup like this. They're not really leaving anything to chance, and they're going to try and grind VERTEX into the dust right from the outset, make a statement in game 1 of IEM Fall.
I liked that approach in the first gun round for VERTEX, though. Even sort of being foretold by that second round buy, I was talking about APOC Data Roffelko holding on to extra utility. They had that 3 sets of utility in towards Banana. That was the name of the game for VERTEX. They really wanted to dominate that part of the map, but unfortunately, bad case of timing, and Renegades, who are always liable in these 3-on-5s, I mean, that's the thing with them. They are just a little bit better on average on an individual basis than much of the players in Oceania. So they are very able to turn around those disadvantageous situations just with individual mechanics and outplay potential. VERTEX, though, they've gone back into another buy. This time, not many bits of utility being invested in towards this banana fight, but a flashbang on the timing did set up APOC Dud for a little bit of a duel there. Unfortunately, they don't catch Ins hiding behind the car there. So that's a bit of an opportunity missed for VERTEX to find themselves a first pick.
I'm not sure. No, Malta gets a double. What a spray transfer. I was just about to say, I'm not sure that Renegades is going to commit to the B bomb site this time. They had a bit more presence over toward A. Malta was progressing further up in carpets than he was in the previous round. And obviously with those kills, Renegades is going to make their way over to the A bomb site. That is a fantastic couple of entries from Malta.
It's just fallen apart in the blink of an eye for VERTEX. They were in an okay position, not favorable or anything like that. Obviously missed that opportunity on towards Banana. That is the kind of play that they're hoping for Malta to come through with. More so, I'd say, towards the stairs side of carpet. That's what they're set up for. But unfortunately, he jumps up window side, peeks from the boiler side in towards the halls, and he's able to get that double spray transfer. You're hoping for an early first pick there. But VERTEX caught with their pants down. Not only carpets, but also over towards this B side of the map. That is going to be a clean sweep. 5-0 in guns caken up for Renegades and 5-0 on the scoreboard.
I mean, I'm just going to say it at this point. Has VERTEX even had the opportunity to play this game yet? It's 5-0. None of these rounds, maybe bar the one where it was a 3-on-3 and VERTEX decided not to make a retake happen.
when they were
Has there been any opportunity for VERTEX
when
to
they
do
were in the
anything?
5-on-3, that was the opportunity. But
Yeah.
then you saw like just that 5 seconds where if VERTEX have just settled a little bit and maintained the 5-on-3 and just given Renegades a bit of map control and gone in for the retake, that's where you could have said maybe they could have come through with that round. And actually they had been doing enough economic damage over a while to where, you know, you thought that they could maybe put the pieces together, and not only in terms of winning that round, but also keep the economic pressure on Renegades. But now it's gotten a hell of a lot harder. VERTEX again on one of these pistol half buys, and they're getting bullied in towards Banana. And I think at the end of the day, if they can't control Banana, then they are not going to be able to control this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a little bit of damage at least. Ins is on 20 HP, Hat's on 60, so some of those pistols could be put to good use if there are shots on offer for VERTEX, but it just seems like Renegades is a bit too switched on at the moment, and they're not even going to give VERTEX that half chance. Like, there's not even that 10% here for VERTEX that if everything were to go perfectly, then they could win the round. Like, they don't have a player on the B bomb site. They've got him rotating back over to A. They're going to save those guns, but obviously with that, it's going to mean another round over for the Renegades. I mean, 6-0 now the scoreline, and how many players have even lost their lives? Like Inns, Malta, and Hat and Alistair have died one time so far in this half in 6 rounds.
Yeah. Honestly, wouldn't even mind just seeing a attack pause for VERTEX, just to kind of steady the nerves a little bit and get their heads straight in towards this next gun round. Obviously, you have quite a few you can call, and I think they're a bit underutilized. But when you talk about playing the last RMR, you know, in comparison to something like a Premier, like an AZ Champs, these are not the tournaments where you don't want to use those attack forces. You don't want to use all the resources that are available to you. One gun dropped over for Renegades, but it's not going to worry them too much. You're starting to see the economy balloon out of control. A couple of players into the 5 digits, but they're definitely going to be, 6-7+ K across the board on all of these players. That is a very solid T-side economy. We're talking about 3 or 4 buys consecutively, even if VERTEX start putting the pieces together and upsetting on some of these gun rounds. And I'm not sure how consistently can they do that. They haven't even shown us the potential to do it in more than 1 round, so I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do it for 3 or 4 in a row. So this is where the objective of VERTEX kind of shifts from trying to dominate this half to how many rounds can they chip in before they move on to their own T side.
They make this at least a map that doesn't fall over from the outset. Yeah. Just tries to go for the jump spot. Yep. And gets deleted. It's like everything is going wrong. Everything that could go wrong for VERTEX is going wrong. On another day, Inns doesn't hit that shot. Although, maybe on another day he does. Let's be real, it's Inns. But you get my point, though. These are not situations that you would see every day of the week. Malta getting a 2K, walking up carpets. It just doesn't normally happen. But Renegades is taking everything that's given to them and kind of destroying VERTEX at the moment. So my concern isn't even so much about the half right now. It's more so about the map, and then following that, the confidence levels of VERTEX heading into map 2, which, to be fair, is their own map choice. Finally, something goes the way of VERTEX as Apocdad gets a nice timing down the bottom of Banana. But still, it's 4-on-4.
All right. Well, Renegades, they've taken that Banana control. Inns is over there. That is his home. He's quite happy to just apply pressure. Try to pull that last bit of utility off the CT side, or just find the opening. Dual Apocdad caught with his pants down a little bit. Does this pull a rotation? No, PZ holds fast over towards jungle side, and it's going to extend the advantage for VERTEX. 20 seconds on the clock. Renegades are rerouting back towards that B site.
Well, it is pulling a rotation. It's the T side rotation, though, not the CT one. And so you tilt, gets dropped down in towards CT spawn and make sure that RNG can get that bomb plant down on the ground. Apoc is more than happy to just play the numbers right here and wait for the rotation to come across so that VERTEX can retake 4-on-3. That's holding close by the coffins, waiting for the push to come through from construction. Hasn't seen too much yet, and Alistair starts to get smoked off. So we need to see a big round out here from Hats if Renegades is going to win. The flash goes a bit too far. PZ has 1, but Hats has 2, and Alistair 2 as well. Renegades, they do not seem to be able to put a foot wrong at the moment, do they? 7-0.
This is what I'm talking about. I was saying it before, that 3-on-5 is a classic case of Renegades, the individuals, just being able to outplay, to be able to multi-frag, clutch up every time, and that 2-on-4 is another perfect example of it. VERTEX coming in with all guns blazing. PZ is putting in a lot of important kills. You know, we were in a 4-on-4. PZ starts firing up, starts hitting a couple of shots with the AWP. But VERTEX still, in ideal circumstances, cannot convert a bloody round.
Yeah, tough day at the office for them so far. It's going to be a little push through from APOC Dud, nicely timed. In's 12 HP, will not win that duel, though he does a bit of damage into APOC Dud before he falls. Nade doesn't quite sail close enough to APOC Dud. The Molotov, however, will prevent his exit. Renegades are so good at finding those opportunities to just eke out an extra kill, but finally, it seems like maybe we are going to get a round win for VERTEX. I don't want to curse it, though. 2-on-4, definitely still winnable here for Sicko and Alistair. That's, however, sort of coming down to this aim duel right here. Sicko, only a 1-for-1. Almost needed to swing around and get both, as difficult as that is to do. Leaving Alistair with a 1-on-3 is maybe a bit too much.
Did say right. He's going to retrieve himself the C4. There is a duel he can isolate on this A site, but coming out Carpet's side, I dare say there's going to be a bit of a tell. In any case, going to be very difficult for him to silently creep out of apartments here. So Addict in the position over towards the cold box should hear this coming and should be able to convert the frag.
Well, he's got no other option. So he's going to drop into pit. Addict still not giving away his position. Alistair, I think, saw his shoulder for a second, but it was Brace in the end to swing, and VERTEX have their first round. It was a rough grind to get here, but at least they've got one. Now they have to ensure that they don't let the next couple go back to Renegades, because, again, they'll just find themselves sort of trying to deal with a brick wall.
Renegades, again, good for another buy, and at least one more after this one. So VERTEX, this is what I'm talking about. The need to string rounds together is there if they want to try to break the economy at this point in the game. It's going to be a difficult task for them. Here's the one-way smoke towards Car, trying to set up PZ for a duel towards Banana, but with the half-wall smoke coming in, that's actually going to set up Hats to try to prod towards Banana here. Nice little bit of teamwork from VERTEX. The head boost puts PZ up on the totem pole and creates him an opportunity to find that pick anyway, which they were setting up for initially. But Renegades, in the meanwhile, taking space over towards A.
Yeah, Alistair has progressed quite far up brackets, and Malta is doing the same inside of Carpets. Already a bit of map control being taken over toward the A bomb site. They've left Ins on the lurk over towards Banana. There was to be a push down from the CTs that have to deal with him. So a nice response from Renegades, even despite the fact that they have a numbers deficit. They're still finding ways to take map control.
C4 at the bottom of T stairs, though. Renegades still have some decisions to make about where they want to end. Smoke into back of library and smoke into arch side. They are going to commit into this A side. There's 3 players here ready to go.
Oh, Alistair almost gets the timing there onto APOC Dud, but just a little bit unlucky. Addict is as of yet unspotted as well. Sicko and Inns are trying to use the hate cart to get any kind of energy to battle into the side itself. And that has not gone well for Renegades at all. VERTEX get 5 guns through from that round, and that really starts to build their half up a little bit. 7-2, still not a fantastic scoreline, but they've proven, of course, that they can at least contest in this series.
Well, we knew that. I think it's just a question for me whether their form was going to let them down a little bit. You're seeing them cleanly put these gun rounds together. You can see VERTEX, you know, they're not one of these underdog teams that doesn't play fundamentally sound CS. Put them in an advantageous situation. You expect them to be able to convert. Now they're changing up the pace, actually. They're going aggressive back on the Renegades. They have a little bit of money in the back pocket, so that's where you don't fear the economic reset on the CT side as much, and therefore you might think about taking some extra risks or just changing things up, and it's worked a treat for them. They put themselves in a 4-on-2. They can potentially reset this T-side economy, and I was talking about VERTEX doubting their ability to put 3 rounds together consecutively, but I think I'm about to be proven wrong.
I think you are as well. It's looking like a completely different game than the one that we watched in the first 7 rounds. So goes to VERTEX for being able to bring it back. Addict holds a nice line as Ins will lose his life, and Hats is solo. HP relatively low on Addict and Apoc Dud, so if Hats wanted to go for something, there might be a chance that he finds a sneaky couple of kills. He's got the bomb here. And he is headed towards the B-bomb site, where at least Apoc Dud is tagged up quite significantly.
He's going to creep in, try to isolate this first ball. There isn't really any trade potential, but the shoulder's good enough for Rufflecode to spot him out. That's where this utility can start to come in to try to set up the pick, but no follow-through from Apoc Dud. He just flashes for his teammate and leaves him high and trying to buy time for the other players to come in closer to the site here.
That has been the mantra for Apoc Dud a few times. When the B site's been taken, he'll just back away and let his team rotate across so that they have the numbers advantage for the retake. Hat's really desperate to find a 1v1 here. He might just be about to get it. Spots the shoulder of Addict, but Addict proves to be a little bit too good from Banana, and in the end, VERTEX will convincingly take that retake without really much of a hitch.
Bomb plant does kind of bolster the funds here for Renegades. I'm interested to see if they're going to put a buy together. You know, you're talking about 3.3, 3.2. These are kind of breakpoints where you're talking now about Galil light buy with not much utility. And those are the kind of buys where I look at them and I think to myself, how much extra percentage points are you getting over pistol and armor here? And the pistol and armor allows you to set up for a more convincing buy in that next round. So I like the approach for Renegades. They're already ahead. There's still rounds to play in this half. Just Deagle armor or pistol armor. Give yourself an opportunity to take this round away if you're going to steal it, perhaps, with some nice shooting or a good timing, and then buy up in the next.
This is a chance for the good timing. Hats will have to bite it correctly through the smoke. He wants to go. You can tell Ins is there with him. They're both going to send it. In fact, all of Renegades is going to send it into the firing squad that is known as Apoc Dud. He's already got 3 in the round and might be on for the 5. Sicko eventually will get the better of him. That'll be bomb plant down for Renegades. They drop Sicko to 26 HP, so a very difficult task ahead of him here. And he's not going to be given much to play with from Brace. VERTEX get 4 in a row, but you are still sort of seeing Renegades with the ability to get the bomb plant down, make some of these rounds a little more interesting than they really deserve to be. So things might start to shift again when the guns come back into hand for the T side.
We've had an across-the-board performance for everyone on VERTEX except for Rufflecode. Context there being is that man just had some kind of surgery. I think he's feeling a little bit under the weather. And for anybody who's not familiar with VERTEX, Rufflecode is tied equally as their best performer. You know, some people might say he's kind of one of the centerpieces of the team. A very strong rifling presence when he's on his game. So for him to not be performing and VERTEX still putting up a little bit of a fight here just says that they have depth in their roster. And, you know, they would be able to contest this game a little bit better. Maybe in better circumstances.
Numbers advantage for Renegades, not something they've had in the last few rounds. So this could be a bit more of a difficult one for VERTEX. Money at least is decent on the CT side, that if they drop here, they'll still have a buy, they'll still be able to fight for the half. But VERTEX have done such hard work to get back into this position that it would be disappointing to lose it here. And Alistair is starting to pull off one of those rounds. A couple of kills already.
It's unlucky. The flash was well timed. You could see Alistair in the kill feed was blind there. But he's a player who's intuitively quite sound. And you can see he could just time his shot straight through the flash and pick up the kill anyway. PZ. You can see VERTEX, they're trying to make something happen. They've been down for this whole round in terms of numbers. But they're getting caught on every timing.
Oh, not that one. Though it looked pretty close. Walter just not able to get that raw adjustment that he needed onto the head. Addict hear all of these footsteps and choose the correct time to peek, but Hats is a bit too sharp. Shuts him down. Apoc doesn't really have many decisions to make here apart from save that AWP through the next round and hope for the best.
You can see the money's still good on VERTEX. So holding on to this AWP would definitely set you up for that double AWP potential if that's what you want to be going for. VERTEX though, I mean, we've already seen Renegades take the majority in this half. This game is going to be very difficult for you to convert. This is Renegades map pick though. Oh, just a bit of a messy spray, unfortunately. Some of those shots a little bit more difficult. Players in transition, you're trying to convert it. AWP wasn't retained, so we're onto the singular AWP here. Pretty solid buy across the board for VERTEX, but this is where we're getting towards the tail end of the half, and I'm worried for them that if they're not converting this round, then you're going to have at least double digits for Renegades. It's going to get much more one-sided from there, most likely.
Yeah, I'd suspect so. Slower approach this time from Renegades. No real quick progression up banana, though they've already got hats established at the logs position.
Look at this setup on B. The VERTEX are running. AWP on the line towards top of banana. Apoc Dud's got flash from Coffin, and then you got Roffelco ready to swing. So VERTEX really trying to set up for a scenario where they can come out favorably ahead of this B fight. But unfortunately, this is exactly the round where Renegades goes for jungle control and doesn't opt to take sandbags on banana. So VERTEX, this setup, unfortunately, doesn't actually end up having any impact for them.
Hats almost found his man. There was a push coming through from VERTEX, but they'll very quickly scurry their way back into B. That's not exactly where the full hit is going to come from. So this is a nice rotation in from VERTEX. They've got that third player coming across from the B bomb side into A. And it's a good timing that they do because Apoc Dud has managed to get the kill onto ins. And Renegades are hightailing it back over to B. Really just running all over the map. And they're going to have to do it quickly here, Pilski. 18 seconds left on the clock. Hats is leading the charge. If one or two of these players drop, the round is over. Roffelco falls quite quickly. Hats fake flashing with his AK. I'm not sure what's going on here. But PZ inevitably does get the kill onto Alistair, but ultimately, the bomb plant will go down.
Oh, Malta. He's on the big flank here. If Renegades could just buy time, Sicko and Hats, crossfire from New Box, smoke onto main is going to buy even more time and allow Hats to kind of play around the smoke and go over towards banana side, but he is smoked off now. Malta now making his way through CT spawn.
He's got to speed it up. He's really got to speed it up because the crunch is starting to come. Malta will find Apoc Dud. That's a fox among the hen house. Hats tries to keep his head down, but it eventually falls to Malta in the 1-on-2. He'll get the shot onto Addict, but PZ's good for the trade. However, they've run out of time. VERTEX can't get it done in time, and Renegades will win around 9-4, the scoreline, and the money gets bumped up just enough for Renegades that they're going to have a really good buy here into round number 14.
Yeah, I mean, good news for them is this is what I was talking about. VERTEX, they just did not have the amount of money that they needed to be able to sustain losing that round, and that's going to have implications on the later part of this half. If they could convert that one, you know, that's where they're actually starting to put the T-side money in the dumps. Renegades doesn't have a whole lot of loss bonus behind them, and you could see VERTEX potentially being able to recover and start to put together some CT rounds, but unfortunately, that's not the reality we live in, and VERTEX, they save the AWP, but that's where the talking points end, and there is a potential for double digits here for Renegades. In fact, more than that, it's very likely, and VERTEX, the best they can hope for really is an upset with a hero AWP and a handful of pistols, or we're looking at a 10-5 minimum for Renegades.
I'm sure they're not going to be resting on their laurels if it becomes a 10-4. They'll be wanting 11. Nothing really spotted over on the B bomb site for VERTEX, so they're going to make a bit of a gamble and rotate those players across to A. Thought Apoc Dud was going to go across with PZ, but in the end it is just the one man, but he's the guy with the weapon. PZ with the AWP arrives on A. And he's going to have to be a difference maker here. Able to establish himself on an angle, but Malta spotted it. Easy, didn't see Malta creeping out on the balcony, so that's quite swiftly dealt with by Renegades. Another round goes by the wayside. VERTEX still remain on 4.
Last buy of the half here for VERTEX to make something happen. Try to secure themselves 5 rounds. It's not been a great half, but it's not like they haven't had their opportunities. Some of these rounds have started off decently for VERTEX. In fact, some of them where they have started well, they've been able to convert them. It's not like Renegades have been clutching up every single time. But by and large, I think VERTEX just not being able to win the individual duels cleanly enough, not being able to convert this retake. Very, very fast pressure in towards Banana. And actually, VERTEX are coming out ahead of it. Apoc Dud's able to double up, but Sicko finds a pick in middle as well. And now we're into one of these messy 3-on-3s, and that's where Renegades do their best work. They're going to find that pick in towards Banana and reroute back towards the A side of the map, creep through jungle. It's always one of those high percentage plays when the CTs start to drop like flies. You can find some of those gaps in the defense, and that's what Malta's so great at.
A little bit of a sneaky beaky kind of gameplay from Malta coming through. VERTEX have no ideas. Still a minute on the clock, so Renegades have plenty of time to make this one happen. Foucault spotted out by Hats, and that's going to give a bit more information over to Malta as to where he needs to be looking. There's obviously no concerns right now for Renegades. They think this round is on lockdown, and it's going to be proven correct. Bomb plant will go down on B.
Looking very likely to be that 11-4 here.
Addict with 22 HP, a Famis and a dream, really, at this point. Molotov down, try to draw out a peek from one of the Ts, but neither are sitting in that position, so his chances are slimming ever so quickly. He doesn't even really have time for the defuse anymore. He's just going to have to send it. He's going to have to get onto that bomb and make the defuse happen. There is literally no other way he wins the round, and even then, there was pretty much no way he would win the round. 11-4, the scoreline for Renegades. A very solid up indeed. VERTEX have a lot of coming back to do. G'day everyone, welcome back. We're not able to jump straight into the second half here. Unfortunately, one of the players is still restarting their PC. But overall, Pilski, I don't think that there's too much to really speak to there for Vertex. Unfortunately, just the 4 rounds, 11-4 overall. Very, very good scoreline for Renegades. So you'd have to be a little bit cynical to imagine that Renegades won't be able to come away with the win pretty comfortably here.
Yeah, I think, this is a map that Renegades have proven that they can go up there with the big boys. They took that victory in Cologne over Na'Vi. That was a pretty impressive one. So I dare say it's going to be difficult for Vertex. They're going to try to jump straight up jungle side and take a couple of duels with the CTs, but it seems like this jungle and Torch crossfire has been more than good enough for Renegades to close out the round. Addict's going to drag back a couple, and he picks up the bomb, so there is space for Vertex here in this 2-on-4.
Yeah.
With Addict alive and Apoc done, these two have actually kind of been the standouts for Vertex.
He's going to send in scurrying back over to B, but he really needs to hightail it back over toward A to help Alistair out. Or maybe not. Alistair has it covered quite nicely. 12 for the scoreline. Renegades will win the second half pistol, and with that, I'd say they shatter any hopes that Vertex might have had, however slim, to come back into this map.
Yeah, that's a bit of a death sentence, if you ask me. For Vertex, going to be very difficult to recover from this position. They're forcing up, though. Even without the bomb plant, they're going to give it a bit of a crack. AK dropped over the brace, and he's going to go full utility, but no head armor for the man. PZ is still saving for AWP, so Vertex, they haven't buffed up all of their percentage points of converting this round. But PZ, actually, he doesn't go for the AWP save, and actually at this scoreline, I think that makes a lot of sense. You can't be super confident that you're even going to be able to get your hands on that AWP and find much impact with it unless you're going to start to win a couple of these rounds you're not favored in. Roffelco, I honestly cannot remember how long it's been since this man had a game like this. I think we've said it a couple of times. Obviously, he's feeling a little bit under the weather today. And for the most part, he's one of the better players on Vertex for sure. So sorely missed, I think, in this game. Hopefully he's able to recover soon.
Yeah, hopefully he's going to be able to recover for the next match that Vertex will play in this tournament. Obviously, working under the assumption that they do lose this one to Renegades, that would be an elimination game. So that's the one where you really need to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed and your Roffelco's ready to go, so to speak. But I think it can be excusable to drop a series here against Renegades, regardless of the fashion that Vertex do it in.
Sure.
So far, it's looking quite confident for Renegades. I feel like this is more of an appetizer than anything else for them. They've got bigger fish to fry in this tournament.
This jungle wrap coming in for Vertex, but actually going to execute up dig side, Jordan.
Siko's ready and waiting though with the MP5. He's been covered off by Malta, who is kind of doing the lion's share of the work at the moment. Alistair also able to chime in, and that is a very clean round from Renegades. You could not ask for much more as they go up 13-4.
They really weren't confident about committing in through jungle side there. They burned both of their smokes towards library and Arch. A Molotov was put down in towards that jungle side, and they basically called the cancel, maybe anticipating some flashes to come over from Moto and the CTs to kind of pick them apart that way, maybe running through the smoke. But I mean, even that sounds favorable compared to running into that pit site crossfire with literally not a single piece of utility to be able to set you up to do that. Not the easiest task. One of the most unfavorable trades that you could take on the T side of any map is trying to make that work for yourself. Remember, even going back to old versions of Inferno, that was always a bit of a death sentence, just trying to send it up dig side with no real util to help you out. And of course, it didn't go well for Vertex.
Well, Malta's going to get the important information as to where a couple of Vertex members are. Costs him about 50% of his HP. Vertex obviously haven't got a whole lot to work with in this round. Just the one flash, so it might be a pretty similar experience to the previous. Sort of being harassed on their way into either of those bomb sites by Malta and Ince. Trying to sort of bide that timer down a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah, Brace is sitting in mid with the flash for Chimney. So that's what they're kind of waiting for here. Vertex waiting for him to set up the rest of the boys with that flash. In it goes.
Go's already managed to chime in with the first, and Malta should be able to line a couple up here. Needs to go for the reload, and luckily, he's got teammates there to help him out. Malta does peek up one too many times and will lose his life, but I'm not sure that Renegades are going to be particularly disappointed by dropping the MP5.
Definitely not. And Renegades up 14-4. Honestly, cannot remember the last time they lost a lead like this. I dare say that we're going to be moving on to that next map of the series pretty quickly here, which is going to be... Let me just double check again, because I've forgotten. So we're going on to Vertigo, which is Vertex's pick, and that's going to be an interesting one, because we saw a lot of Vertigo games back there in DreamHack Open. But let's see if Vertex can pick up any momentum heading into the next map. This is their first T-side gun round. And Inferno is not a map that they're all too unfamiliar with, but I saw that they were even struggling against teams like Ground Zero recently. I dare say if you're not able to convert some of those games against teams of around your level, even below your level, you're going to have a tough time against the best that we have to offer.
I suppose that's a reasonable assumption. Vertex definitely is having a tough time. 14-4. I mean, this could be a map that's over and done within 45 minutes, less, to be honest. About as quick as a map of Counter-Strike goes these days. We'll have to fall down off of the flower pots after giving away his position, but he spotted one or two of the Vertex players, so Renegades will be a bit more aware that there could be a creep happening here toward the A bomb site, and due to that, bringing Alistair back across the arch.
This is not good for Vertex at all. This is they've only got 2 smokes, and both of them are on the players on the extremity. So you see Addict, he's going to commit one of those for the one-way over towards Haycart. The last player with the smoke is Apoc Dud, and actually, I think that's kind of why Vertex is starting to send their way back towards the B side of the map. Going to attempt this jungle route with Addict on the lurk. Start to send the other 3 players towards B. That's a great pick from Grace, and with only Hats alive over here towards U-Box, Vertex, that was actually a pretty heads-up call.
This is where Hats does his best work, though. He's an absolute turret anchoring the bomb site. Not much, though, that he can do there, as he gets headshot through the smoke. Bomb plant goes down in time, and Vertex, seemingly out of nowhere, have managed to win a round. That, you would have, if you would have taken a screenshot of that round at 1 minute, at 50 seconds, at 40 seconds, at 30 seconds, you would have said every single time, Renegades wins this round. But Vertex find the one way that they could potentially win that round, and they do it.
I think that was a pretty good call. I'll give Vertex credit. Did they maybe not leave themselves enough time? Sure. But look, Vertex will take every round they can get at the moment. I just love as well that Ruffleco has the presence of mind to go and try to kill the player in the smoke and times it out perfectly to where he can still get the plant in, rather than just what a lot of players would do, especially in a high pressure match like this, which would be panic plant and hope your teammates cover you, right? But not Ruffleco. And, you know, of the 2 kills that he's got, I guess that's a pretty high impact kill. If he doesn't get that kill, no guarantee Vertex wins that round. So, good on him.
Indeed. It's not enough to really get Vertex into a good position, though. Renegades still have plenty of money. So they'll just invest right back into the round and try to give it another crack. Plenty of time to finish this one off, so Vertex is going to have to go on an unprecedented spree of rounds to salvage this map.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Pretty good buy-in for Renegades. This could be playing for 2 if you're Vertex. You can break the CT money here. Sure. And they are just going back to the fundamentals, running this T-side default. They've taken carpets, they've taken banana. Now we'll see if they do want to go for bracket.
Well, Ruffleco continues to have a bit of a peek in toward the A bomb site. Smoke's coming down at good times for Renegades. Keep the B defenders pretty comfortable. Apoc Dud is lucky to be alive.
He just goes straight through the smoke, anticipating that there was only 1 player left over towards the B side, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Hats just peeks the man from Coffin and ends him. So Vertex got to complete this 4-on-5 over towards this A side of the map.
Alistair looks ready to go. And that almost was a collateral for him. Does get the Molotov down. Probably not where he wanted it to go, but it will do its job. Alistair swings for a second frag. So no real success in this round so far for VERTEX, though they're going to start to wrap through Moto. Be plenty of information for Renegades that is coming. Malta deals with it quite effectively, and for poor old PZ on 9 HP, his chances in this round are starting to disappear pretty quickly. Chances for the map as well are pretty much gone by the wayside now. 15-5 map point for Renegades, and this has been one of the more convincing maps of Counter-Strike that I've cast in the last month.
For sure. Addict's doing pretty well for himself. I think every time the camera's been on him, he's been converting kills. He's been looking pretty sharp. So he definitely showed up to this game. That's good to see. HG nade being dropped in towards spawn there. Maybe for some retake utility, I think. And Inns buys himself up more nades. Brace has lost his life very early on in the piece here. So VERTEX. Minute and 40 on the clock there, 4v5. These are the kind of rounds where I'd expect you to just go and hit the small site, but we'll see what they're going to do.
Numbers of Renegades are over toward the B bomb site, so if VERTEX tried to take control of brackets, it might be a bit easier for them right now than later on in the piece. Wishful thinking, though, as In starts to make his way back across to A. Sicko's well progressed. Should be able to find one here at least. PZ slowly creeping. Actually does manage to get the better of him. Had the favorable duel. And so we're back to 4-on-4 with the Scurry having to come back across from Inns. Luckily, there was a Molotov available for Hats. He'll pop that one down, and VERTEX kept at bay by that. Now, Smoke gives a bit of room for Inns to work with, but he bites off more than he can chew, and he's punished for it inside of the smoke. Once again, we must ask for a multi-flag. Hats avoids the flash well, but can only get the first kill. Good job from VERTEX. Finding the bomb now 3-on-2. And you might actually see a save come through here for Renegades, because their money ain't looking too good. But that brings it back to the 2-on-2 duel. So that's an incentive for Renegades to go for this.
Yeah, no utility to flush out any of these positions, though. So, I mean, they're still being quite defensive here. Still holding these angles. I think they're just looking to tax VERTEX, really. Take the guns off of them if they can. And they're setting themselves up nicely to do it. VERTEX attempting to exit the site. Alistair just shouldering, showing the barrel of the AWP. Trying to make himself annoying to hit. He does that so well. And after all said and done, that is the tax of winning the round for VERTEX, is they lose all of their guns, which means they can't replace the AWP. And they're definitely going to be light on util of a couple of players unless they start to go down to Galils.
Is the incentive there right now for Renegades to force buy into this round? Looks like it is. More of a half buy than anything else.
Yeah, just a half buy around the AWP. I have no reason to force up here, really, other than impatience. Smoke to the half wall to kick off the round. I'm looking at Hat sitting right behind that half wall smoke with his Mag 7, and I'm thinking to myself, we could see a bit of a highlight here.
Well, there it is. Pilski, just the one, not quite the highlight that you were asking for, but the smoke faded well enough for Hats. Inns only has a Deagle to play with here. Just a flash as well. CZ from Sicko is going to find its mark before the smoke blooms, and Inns chiming in with one as well makes this round start to fall apart a bit for VERTEX. You got Malta wrapping in behind at the bottom of Nana, so they're not going to be able to exit, and they're starting to get harassed on their way into the bomb side. Alistair, a little bit antsy, has to back away, but the retake will begin in earnest once that bomb plant does go down for VERTEX. Or maybe not. Maybe Malta's going to try and force the issue a little bit. He'll lose his life, but he's done sizable damage to Addict. Rofako feeling a little bit awkward when that swing does eventually come through. It's a two-man peak, and Addict is the last one left alive. He's watching the wrong angle. No one's coming from Banana. Has to turn his attention towards Sicko and Alistair. Of course, that is going to leave Inns to come from behind with the Deagle, and Renegades will get the map victory. Not the round that VERTEX would have been too happy to lose, but in the end, it was always going to be a round that was going to be difficult for them, a map that was going to be difficult for them, and Renegades